I'm live now. See, this stuff happens, right? You're not on the top of your game, right? You're not ready, and then these things happen, right? You forget to turn on your lav, right? So, we're human, right? We're not perfect. We're so worried about our instruments, and then suddenly the technical stuff just goes away. All right, anyway. Today it's arpeggios. Arpeggios with sweeping mainly. You can play them with all kinds of techniques, but sweeping is probably the most popular one. So I'll probably group them into two main categories, which is how you group them rhythmically. So one is the triplet grouping, and the other one is a 16-note grouping. And the triplet grouping is probably the most popular one because players, like Yngwie Malmsteen and company, they all made that whole format of arpeggios very popular. So let's just grab a typical triad, in this case E minor. Let's look at all the possibilities that you have for sweeping, just an E minor triad. I'll do the triplets first. So that's the first typical shape. Then you got one more here, and then you got one more. Okay? Now, when you use the right hand to perform these sweeps, there's different approaches. Probably the most logical one is you use the sweep technique. So in this case, you would go down on the high note and then up, up, up on the rest. Other people, what they do is they start with an upstroke and then they pull off. And then they pull off and then they go up and down. It's the laugh like, hi. It's the laugh
Hold
weird.
on. Gotta move the lav.
Oh, okay.
Gotta move the lav.
Make up, make up.
There we go.
make up, make up.
Hold on. Let's make sure we got it right here.
Make up.
It was just hitting your guitar strap.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. See? It's good to have all these people working for you. It's just awesome. So that's probably the most popular way of doing the 3-1, right? But that doesn't mean you cannot use the full sweep, which means, again, down, up, up, up. Now, it's good to practice both because they sound different, right? What about going up? Up is just more obvious because you have to go down, 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 and then the upstroke on the high note. And the reason you use the pull-off is because when you combine it, ascending and descending, you get that group of 6. So it really depends on how you phrase the arpeggio. Okay, that's just 3 strings. And when I group them rhythmically, I do the triplets, which is this guy. And then when I group it in 4, I can go either ascending, again, down, 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 up, or I can go descending, which is down, up, up, up. Okay? So that's pretty much the main concept for just 3 strings. So you can practice going all the way up the fingerboard. Now the most important thing is keep the numbers of the notes always the same. Don't add a slide or a pull-off where there shouldn't be one, to stay rhythmically always even. In this case, 6 notes. So that's 6, another 6, another 6, and another 6. Okay. Now, when you do more strings, that's when it gets more fun, and this is where every guitar player just goes crazy, and they say, "Oh man, I want to use all strings and sweep up and down like a maniac." So, how do you do that? Well, let's just grab the most common one, which is this guy. All right, so again, I'm just going down E minor. And then, because those are how many notes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need one more note to turn it around. So, and I grab the low B down here. It's quite a stretch, but you don't have to literally stretch. You can just move your hand. So how do I pick this? You can go up, pull up if you want, and then up, 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 down on this note, up here, so you don't have to hammer, and then down, 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 up. You could also pick everyone and go up, down, up, 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 down, up, down, 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 down. Some people that have really big hands, they might hammer this, but the majority of guitar players just have normal hands, so this is quite a big stretch to do, and then hammer. Right? So that's why I pick it, and I shift my hand. Okay, now next one. There is two versions for this. One is with the pinky up here. Right, that's probably the most typical one. So here you have to bar with the third finger. Right, and then when you go back up, it's the same. Now the one that I do is right. Why do I do this? Because I get an additional grouping. But it doesn't mean you cannot play the other one. That's fine. There's no problem with that one. Now, the last one on this minor arpeggio is probably the trickiest one because you have to bar so much. Always remember, you got two notes on the top, mainly, and two notes on the bottom. Okay? Now here's the tricky part. You gotta bar 3 notes with your first finger. Then 2 notes with the third. And then grab the G on the 10th fret. Now, I palm mute slightly so that it doesn't become this ringing fest. So I palm mute slightly. So that way you can have a better separation of the notes. Now that is minor. What about making it major? Well, just change the third from a flat 3 to a major 3. So here's the minor one. Here's major. Okay, and then let's go to the other shape. Here's your minor third. Now here you got to bar 3 notes with your third finger. The other option is that you bar with your second finger and then grab the G sharp with the pinky. That's a very popular shape. All right. So you can either do that or you can do this one. And the end effect is the same. It's the same arpeggio. Last, that's the major third. So barring again. There and there. So these are all triplets, right? Sextuplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, next one. Then last one. And then you're back to the beginning, which is the same shape you did here. Now, how do you transition between them to keep the timing the same? Again, don't add any slides, any extra notes or pull-offs. Just keep the pinky as your starting finger for every shape. So let me show you. No, I'm not going to play this note again because then otherwise I will make 7 notes. I don't need 7 notes. I need 6. I'll make 6. I got to. Sometimes I forget to sweep it. And then the last one, so I go. So these are quite large jumps, and in the beginning it's hard to make it smooth. So okay. Now what about using the other 5 strings? Well, there are certain limitations because what a lot of people do is they play all 6 like this. And the grouping is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 notes. So unless you really love odd groupings, it's very hard to time that. Very hard to time. So you always want to keep it 6 or 8. So if I grab this shape, which comes from this chord. All right. Let me see who's on here. Oh yeah, look at that, cool. Hey Tao. Yeah. All right, cool. Now see, I have to do that to keep it in 6, so this is a little bit awkward, but it's the same pretty much right hand scheme than on the other ones, like this. All right, let's do it in E. All right, so again, I'm just grabbing this shape. And instead of going all the way to the high E, I just stop on the B string. Okay? And the shape changes a little bit, but the start is the same as on this one. Some people might do this one like this. It's the same arpeggio, but I personally prefer this one because I got my additional leg here. And that's a favorite also of Jason Becker, and we know that he's freaking awesome. Okay, now what about using all 6 strings? Now when we use all 6 strings, then it becomes 16 notes. And these are tricky because you have to connect one shape to the next to complete the group of 8. So let me show you what I mean. let's grab a G major. And I'm going to go up on this shape here. Go up to the B here. So how many notes do I have? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I connect to the next shape to come down with 8 notes. Shift back, pinky, and start over. So what I got is this. Right now I'm just alternate picking it, but just to get the fingering working. Which is also a good idea if you practice any type of arpeggios. Try to play them first with normal picking. If you cannot pick it normally slow, then sweeping won't make it any better. All right? So if you do the sweeping very slow, it actually sounds not that smooth. If you go like, right? It's very hard to time it that slow. So if you start practicing it, just pick it normally, down, up, down, up. Just to get the left hand used to the shifting. Then you can practice the descending part, for example, with the sweep. So it would be down, up, 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 down, up. And then you target the low G. See, I land on a downstroke, and then the downstroke allows me to go back up. And it's very important what finger I use to start over. So I'm not going to use my first finger, I'm going to use my second finger. Okay. Now, if I do it in minor, that's a little trickier because I have to stretch a little bit more. So I'll show you in A minor. Again, so A, C, E, A. So you go up this guy, and then down the other guy. Now here's another thing you can try is you don't do two shapes, you do one shape, but then you do a little walk on the bottom two strings. So let me show you what that is. If I take the A minor, see, I land on my first finger, but then I go back up where I came from. So I'm staying pretty much in the box here, and then I walk this part. So it's a little tricky to do this wide walk that I call it. And the way I pick it is I don't hammer. I go down, up, and see, down, up, down, up. Okay, and then if I do it major, it's the same thing. Now let me show you a very cool chord progression, which is actually by Pachelbel. It's the Canon. And this is what it is. It's using all those shapes. So it's G major, D major, E minor, B minor, C major, G major, C major, D major. Let me just play it. All right, so it's pretty involved, right? It's like the shifting is tricky, and it's much harder to pick as much as you can than just starting legato everything. But the problem when you start legatoing everything is you adding elements of noise, right? And and then hammering the note instead of picking it, it just becomes a little more, I would say, sloppy. So really work on the accuracy of shifting more than anything. Okay, that's good old Arpeggios. That's the Canon. It's in G, right? I think the original is in D, but this is just a version in G. All right, cool. So that's it, folks. Sweeping arpeggios, right? Very basic, major, minor, but they're very helpful. It lets you move all across the fingerboard, and it looks great. It's technically hard enough, and you can always impress your other guitar player friends. And so yeah, work on it. Make sure your right hand is accurate. Don't add slides out of nowhere. Make it smooth, and that's pretty much it. So until next time, have a good break in all your activities for the holidays, and don't eat too much food. It's just it's just not good for you. And that's it, folks. So I'll jam it out. Here we go.